Her Bold Blueprint.
Her Bold Blueprint.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Her Bold Blueprint. Today, we have such an exciting guest. Kristen Toth is the Vice President of AdventHealth for Women, and she is just amazing. She moved here from Nashville just a little over a year and a half ago, and she's already creating just amazing change. We talked about her mobile unit that's going to be taking care of neonatal needs, especially in those underserved areas, which is incredible, and just continuing to focus on doing the best we can for the women in our community. But you're going to love her. She's amazing, true powerhouse, and we're so excited for her and for AdventHealth, of course, sponsoring this episode and our entire podcast. So let's jump right in and take a listen. So, Kristen, you bring over 2 decades of leadership in women's health to your role at AdventHealth for Women. You're responsible for driving strategic growth, enhancing patient care, and expanding service offerings across the full spectrum of women's health in Central Florida. Wow. So, if you can just maybe expand a little on that and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you all so much for having me today. I'm so excited to get to be here with you. So, women's health, you'll hear me say it's the best part of the hospital. I'm sure my counterparts don't love it when I say that, but it's something that I truly believe. And when you make women's health care easy, accessible, provide really high quality care and a really great experience, you not only serve out your mission and do what you say you're going to do, but you also are opening that pathway to take care of an entire family and earn their trust for their care in your system. And women's health is something that I say it's in my blood. It just is ingrained in me, and I absolutely love everything about it. It's such an honor and a privilege to get to focus on that every day at work.
I love the whole trust component that you talked about. I mean, how important that is to have that connection through trust with your patients and their families. I think that's vital. You do some amazing work in the community. And can you talk about some of the great community service work that you do?
Sure, absolutely. So I will give you a sneak peek of something that we're doing right now. We are building a women's mobile health unit.
Oh, wow.
And we are building that women's mobile health unit to go out and serve the communities. And we will be primarily in Seminole, Orange, and Osceola counties.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to go to women where they do not have easy access to care, where there's transportation issues, where there's financial barrier issues, to the unhoused communities where they just can't get access to care. And we want to go take that care to them and give them a high quality experience and make sure that they're doing well and that they're thriving. And if we find needs, then we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to connect them to appropriate care so that they can take care of themselves. This has been a passion project since I joined AdventHealth in 2024. Our senior leadership was so incredibly supportive and got on board. It was one of those things that I proposed as a new leader, and I thought they might have some questions or reservations, but I've been so pleased at how much everybody has gotten behind this. And it's being built right now. It's in production. And so it's coming soon. And we cannot wait to come in and provide that care in the areas where there's gaps and needs.
There's such
That's
a
amazing.
valuable need for that, right?
So this mobile unit, will it be focused specifically on one space of women's health care? I know you're very passionate about bringing early prenatal care, and there's barriers there. So will this unit sort of look at women holistically, or are you focusing on that prenatal care?
That's a great question. So we're starting in phases. And so we will have an ultrasound machine in one of the rooms.
Oh, wow.
And so we can provide prenatal ultrasounds for women. And our goal in that is to make sure that women who are pregnant, that everything is well with the baby. And if we find something that could cause them to be considered high risk, then we want to make sure we're getting them access to that care where they can be monitored and looked after through their pregnancy to really make sure they have the absolute best outcomes possible.
And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's just awesome.
So they wouldn't have to pay anything up front? Is this something that's going to be free?
If they are uninsured, they will not have a charge.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So you bring over 2 decades to your role at AdventHealth, which is awesome. And you have a lot of hats that you wear there.
Yes.
And you spend a lot of time in the community working with nonprofits as well. Could you tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing with the American Heart Association? We'd love to hear about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I am so honored to be the 2027 chair for Go Red. I absolutely love Go Red. Go Red was one of my favorite events in Nashville as well. So I was really excited to see such a great and developed chapter here in Orlando when we relocated. So heart health has really impacted my family. My father had a quintuple bypass about 10 years ago. I was in Nashville and got that phone call that you need to come home. And I'll never forget that day. Thankfully, he's doing well. He's 89 now and still just happy and content and enjoying his life. His father, my grandfather, we lost to a massive heart attack when I was 5 years old. And I remember that day very vividly. And my grandmother on my mom's side, we lost her to a stroke in her 80s. And so our family has been greatly impacted. So I'm thrilled to be able to volunteer and participate in the work that American Heart is doing, and especially focused on Go Red for Women and women's heart health and driving awareness in this community.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful program. It has tremendous impact, and we need someone like yourself to be at the helm. Really, we do. We're always about promoting women leaders, and I'm absolutely thrilled that you're going to be taking on the 2027 position. That's amazing.
And continuing to bring awareness. I think so many times as women, we forget to go to those checkups. We forget to ensure that we're, as healthy as we can be because we're too busy, doing all the things, being wives, mothers, daughters, and everything, everything in between. So that's really amazing. Now, you said something earlier, and I wanted to ask you about it. You said that women's health care is in your blood. And I know you described some situations, with your father and your grandmother and grandfather. Could you tell us maybe a little bit more about maybe what led you down this path?
Well, this wasn't a path that I sought. My background is not a healthcare background. I have a master's in statistics. So, I mean, who
Really?
knew? But
Interesting transition.
Right, yeah.
But God just truly created a path for me. That is the only way I can see. There were just doors that opened and people and connections that I met that led to that path. And it is something that I find so much joy in. When you think about your life and those moments that are going to be most impactful when you're reflecting on your time on earth, your marriage is one of those. The day your children are born are really very high on that. And so we have a responsibility. We get to be a part of people's best days of their lives. And I mean, that is a huge responsibility we have to hold high. And we want that experience to be great and memorable and all about them and focused on them, so that when they leave our hospital walls, that they go home and they're like, wow, that was a really incredible time as I met my new baby and sometimes new babies. And that's what, keeps me going every day. And then, as we're aging, we change and all these things happen, and we are so busy. We're raising families. We have elderly parents, that we're trying to support as well. And so we do forget to take care of ourselves. And we've got to take that time out, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of those around us. And so at AdventHealth for Women, we're building our perimenopause, menopause program right now. There's so much great opportunity for women in this space. FDA guidelines have recently changed. And so women are speaking up and advocating for themselves more than they ever have.
Right.
And I get so energized seeing that. And I want to make sure they have a place to come and receive care and get the treatment and care that they need, so that they feel whole, that they feel like themselves, and not feel like they're suffering through menopause. Menopause can last 10 years.
How about perimenopause?
I know.
I wasn't even aware of that. So I'm glad you're speaking about that. Was something I wanted to ask you about because I feel like we're seeing it a lot more in media. It's being discussed more. It's being put out in the open more about what women go through, especially stars like Alyssa Milano and Naomi Watts. And I love that because I wish I would have known about some of these things that are happening, and I've had to, kind of figure it out as I go along. But I love that. Now, those mobile units, is that something that you're going to be, working with women on perimenopause and menopause on those mobile units as well?
I think for the areas where we do our well woman checks,
Yeah.
that will certainly be a part of that conversation, especially in the aging population. So that will be all. We want to be able to
Yeah.
do everything that we can on the mobile unit. And the great thing about it is we get to go to a different community every day. We've got quite a few community partners lined up and excited about it that are leaning into this work with us. And we get to customize which providers we put on the bus each day based on our schedule and where we're going. So we get to be something new to everybody each day and really go meet them where they are and serve them and meet their needs as we line up that schedule and work with the community partners. So,
well, as it catches on, I would imagine that you're going to have the most popular bus in each of these community neighborhoods. So I think that's amazing, right?
I hope so.
So you mentioned too the elderly population. Women are living so much longer today, right? And in some instances, outliving their spouses. So what is AdventHealth doing to get ahead of that curve, right, in women's health?
Yeah, and those are the things, that's where we really cross-collaborate with some of our other institutes. And so we've got an incredible metabolic health institute, and they're really focused on helping your body be strong and keep you moving and keep you flexible and having that strong bone health and all of these things. And so we're building programs and partnering with them so that as women age, how can they learn to take care of themselves in a new way so that they're setting themselves up for success and longevity. So that is really a lot of fun. We're cross-collaborating with our Heart, Lung, and Vascular Institute to focus on women's heart health and have a program for that. When you're pregnant, your body responds, and there are a lot of precursors for later healthcare conditions that come up during your pregnancy. And so you really want to pay attention to that. Like I was that girl, my feet and ankles were always swollen. My blood pressure was always like a little bit high. And those are precursors for heart conditions. And so as we work with the pregnant population and the younger population, we want them to really be tuned in to how their body responds to pregnancy, because it gives us a glimpse of what could be their future. And then when we see those things, if we're proactive, we can partner with them to help change habits and change things so that maybe they don't become diabetic as they get older, and maybe they avoid a heart attack as they get older. So we really want to think about women holistically and through their entire lifespan so that we can walk that path with them and keep them as healthy as possible.
That's incredible. What we're talking about, perimenopause, menopause, heart health and what to look for and how to be advocates for yourself. So I think, this is definitely a topic that everyone wants to know more about.
Yeah. I love that women are speaking up and advocating. I think about my mom's generation. When they went through menopause, it was
taboo.
She's going through the change.
Yep.
And that was just, you swept it under the rug and that was it.
You don't talk about it.
Didn't talk about it. And women are speaking up because they want to feel normal. They want to feel strong and good and healthy. And so it's just been so refreshing to see that it's not taboo, that it is okay to talk about it and encourage your friends. If you've had a great experience with something, encourage your friend to check it out. Something that has really taken off is pelvic floor therapy.
Really?
And, so many women suffer with leaky bladders. And it doesn't have to be that way. So many people think it just comes with age and you've just got to accept it. And there's so many things that very simple pelvic floor therapy can change for you and give you your life back. And women have really began to understand the benefits of that and look for that. And as a result, we have had to grow our program tremendously just to meet the demand in the community.
That's so awesome. So when we think about leadership here in Central Florida, the community is so amazing in terms of really embracing great women leaders. And that seems to be one of the differentiation points, if you will. And we fortunately had so many amazing women leaders. As you think about your own career path as a leader, is there one story that really stands out for you that, perhaps you were thinking, well, I thought it might end up this way, but it might have ended differently. And then did you pivot? Because sometimes those stories about pivoting are some of our greatest tools when we think about lessons to learn in leadership.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think you make it in leadership until you have made mistakes and you've had to learn to pivot. That just comes with the nature of leadership in itself. So, I can think of tons of times where I've had to pivot and change things, but I am not afraid to make mistakes. I'm not afraid to push the envelope and try new things. I love to think outside of the box. My poor team has suffered through many whiteboarding sessions in my office because it's something I love to do, where we sit and brainstorm and put things together and come up with new concepts or new ideas, and then start to poke holes in it and say, can we make something come from this? And I've been blessed to do that many times throughout my career. And when you do that and you surround yourself with people who think differently than you, and you get different perspectives and different lenses, you really can build a better model or a better product because you've turned it over and looked at it different ways and, tried to identify barriers or problems and remove those along the way. So I really encourage people, surround yourself with those who think differently than you. Challenge yourself to poke holes in your ideas because it really will pay off. But don't be afraid to change. You won't know unless you try.
That's so true.
Get started and go down the path, and don't be afraid to say, you know what, I think we're at a point where this isn't working. Let's take a time out. Let's go look at it and reevaluate and see where we need to go from here.
Yep.
For the women who do it all, and then do a little more. We're here for you. At AdventHealth for Women, we created the region's only women's health navigation team to make healthcare simpler. Our registered nurses will match you with the right doctors, schedule your appointments, and more for you and your whole family. So you can keep making hard look easy.
Is there a story maybe that still sits with you that maybe changed how you thought about women's health care?
Sure. So my second child was an unexpected NICU baby.
Oh, wow.
And it was very impactful in my life and in my work. And I became that mom who had a very fragile, very sick little boy in the NICU. Couldn't hold him for several days. We didn't know everything that was happening, and it was devastating. And I worked with all of the physicians. I worked with all of the nurses. I knew them well, and I just could not keep my composure around. I was just so sad to not be able to hold him and bond with him. And I had a 1-year-old at home.
Oh my goodness!
We did not have cameras in NICUs at that time. And so NICUs weren't open 24 hours at that time. And so parents had visiting hours to come see your newborn, and you had to leave and go home and be discharged without your baby. And it was rough. There was not much about that I would say was fun. And thankfully he's great, and he's a head taller than me now and getting ready to graduate high school. And but it was such just an impactful moment where everything in our lives stopped.
Yes.
And I know what it was like to be that mom. And so I think about that in everything I do. For the most part in obstetrics, things go really, really well. Yeah. But on the days that they don't, it's devastating. It's devastating to the families. It's devastating to the teams. And you have to always keep that in the back of your mind because lives change in those moments. And you want babies to grow and be strong in the NICU, but even when they're what we call feeder growers and they're getting stronger and healthier and ready to go home, it's really hard for families to be separated from their baby.
Oh, yeah, it's devastating. I mean, I've had a couple friends go through that and work colleagues. And like you said, everything kind of just stops. So that's amazing and you've probably learned so much from being on that other side and how you can maybe affect some change in those scenarios.
Yeah, because that's where you take the compassion and vulnerability
yes.
as a leader into what you do every day to help improve the lives of patients and their families, right? And I do think those real life experiences as difficult as they are to go through, I believe that God wants us to take on the most strongest things possible and then take away those pearls of wisdom and help use them for other people to help them as they're looking at challenges in front of them too. So I think what you've done is really awesome.
Thank
So,
you. It makes it easy to speak up and advocate for what we need to be to women in this community.
Yeah, it really does. It absolutely does. So when you look back on your career, was there ever a time when you thought, boy, I'd like to know more about what we can do in the community? Like, for example, you have the Make-A-Wish Foundation. How do you find those opportunities? Do you work in tandem with AdventHealth? Do they help you find those opportunities, or do you gravitate to them because of your own personal mission in life? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I have always felt empowered to be a part of boards and serve on boards. I feel like when you are blessed, you need to give back to your community, and you need to invest that time and volunteer and serve your community and serve others. And so when I moved here from Tennessee, I was serving on a couple of boards in Nashville, and I was rolling off since we were relocating. And so when I joined AdventHealth, joining local boards was one of my first asks of learning what was available and where we had open opportunities. And when Make-A-Wish came across my desk, I thought, what a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not think about Make-A-Wish and just like feel joyful and happy? The work that team does is just incredible. They truly make dreams come true for the most deserving children every day, and they go above and beyond in everything that they do, and you just feel that joy. So it's such an honor to sit on that board and join a really incredible board and a really incredible team. I have been so impressed with the philanthropy in Orlando. It's really tremendous here, more so than anywhere I've ever seen.
Oh, good.
And so many companies are represented for Make-A-Wish and pouring back into that, just like they are for American Heart.
Yes.
It's really very impressive how much this community supports itself.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Of course, Advent's everywhere. So
Yes.
we love that.
We're blessed. I will say, as a newcomer to the organization, that's one of the things that really impressed me with how involved AdventHealth is in the community as well.
So we've talked a lot about community and your career, but we'd like to know maybe what life looks like outside of that. What brings you joy outside of work?
Oh, my family. So much. So I have a daughter who is a sophomore in college out of state. Very excited that her semester is winding down and she'll be home for the summer. We have lots of plans and have lots of girl time planned. And then my son is graduating this year, and he's going to be playing baseball in college as a freshman. So my husband and I are very much looking forward to going and watching him play his games. And then my husband and I are eager to kind of pick up some travel. We enjoy traveling, but we have paused a lot of it. Our kids have always been in competitive sports, and so we've really focused our time in efforts to be in there for them and support them. But we do look forward to having some of that time for ourselves as well.
What are some of your destinations?
So our favorite place is in Puerto Vallarta. It's called Grand Velas Riviera Nayarit, and it is our family's all-time
I love
place
Puerto
to
Vallarta.
go. We love it.
Well, I used to do a yoga retreat every year, and we have to land in Puerto Vallarta and spend some time there, and then we have to take a boat to this other area, but it is beautiful.
It is a beautiful area. The people in that community are just incredible.
Yeah.
And we love to visit there. They also have Vallarta Adventures nearby if you like getting out and doing some fun things. Their ATVs are great, and their zipline tour is a lot of fun. So we love that. We do want to get to Europe some. Our daughter fully intends to be a part of those trips. So we'll work through all of that. But yeah, it's hard to believe that we're at this phase of life where we're really close to being empty nesters. We don't feel old enough to be,
it goes so
be
fast.
empty nesters. And I told my husband, be prepared. We might have 12 dogs by Christmas. But, we're going to make the most of it. And we he's my best friend, and we enjoy being together. And so we will look forward to that path. And then thankfully, because we live in such a great area, a lot of our friends and family love to come visit. So we have been very blessed to have lots of friends come and visit and see where we are now and learn about our new community.
And what position does your son play?
He's a pitcher and he's a shortstop.
A pitcher and a shortstop.
Yes.
Wow. Dynamo.
I know. What's just still sort of related to family. So when you have everyone home, what's something that you guys like to do as a family?
So my kids really enjoy Universal.
Yep.
We really enjoy
I
Disney.
do too.
We love to go out to eat. We have really enjoyed finding new things just in the area that we didn't know were in Orlando. We've traveled to Orlando our kids' entire lives for vacation, but really primarily for the parks. And so it's been fun to learn about other great things in the community. There's an area where we want to go and see the manatee when our daughter's home for Easter that's pretty close to us. So that's on our list in just a couple of weeks. But we love it here. It's so easy to pop down to Boca or pop down to West Palm and Miami and see places. We've been to Naples for the first time since moving here. And so just getting out and exploring has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, the whole West Coast side of Florida is just breathtaking.
Oh,
And,
it is.
you're going to have a lot of fun as you continue to explore. Well, one of the things that we always like to do, because the name of our podcast is Her Bold Blueprint, is we like to ask our guests, what is one bold leadership strategy that you have used during your career that has really stood out to you as being a change maker, something that really made a difference for you as you continue to grow in your career path?
So I mentioned earlier that I love to surround myself with people who think differently than me so that I can gain other perspectives. And so when I have something that's on my strategic plan that may be kind of out there, kind of pushing the envelope, I really take the time to sit down with the key stakeholders who are going to be instrumental to that success and getting their feedback on it. I always want to go in a room and never surprise someone. So I try to socialize and have those conversations up front. And I found that when I do that, when I take that little investment of time and give to them and get their feedback, that then they become a champion and they become an advocate. And then they are a part of that conversation and a part of that strategy. And I've just found that to be not only beneficial in my work, but I really love connecting with people and getting to know them and know what matters to them and see where our work can intersect. So that's what I would say is really sitting down and getting to know the people who are instrumental, because we can come up with ideas, we can come up with plans, but at the end of the day, it takes a lot of people to bring something to life. I can't even tell you how many people touch this women's mobile health unit.
I can only imagine.
It is not me and my team doing it alone. It has taken so many people and it's been fantastic. And we've been able to really challenge ourselves and push through the ideas and bring it to fruition. But that would be my example.
I love that.
Me too.
We work so much through the Athena program. We work so much with younger emerging women leaders, right? And as they're developing their career path. And by and large, the one thing they tell us that's so important to them is to have more collaboration. They want collaboration across the board, right? And so it sounds like you've been really providing your team members with that all along. And I'm sure they really find value in that. So that's all really cool.
And I think being on the other side, I had an amazing mentor when I was a baby banker. And, that's what she did. I think with our team, she got to know us and then was vulnerable with us in a way. We got to know her and it didn't feel like work because we bought into the vision and we wanted to make her look the best as she could. And I think that's what you're doing. It's like they feel ownership and they feel seen. And it makes, for me personally, it makes me want to work harder for that person.
That's so true. Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, I get chills just thinking about my mentor too. So that's amazing. So we have a couple last questions for you.
Little rapid fire.
So best career advice you've ever received. What would that be?
Keep your eyes, nose, and toes in the same direction.
Oh, I like that.
What that means, you think about if you're walking
Yeah.
and you turn and something catches your attention over here and you look the other way, you're going to walk into something or you're not paying attention to where you're going. So keeping your eyes, nose, and toes in the same direction really keeps you focused. It keeps you aligned and keep you moving in the direction you want to go.
That's awesome. I think about Florida beaches when you say that.
Yeah, I know.
Dipping our toes into the beach. The sand.
I had a picture of the beach too.
I've said it to my kids many times, like walking around a store or the mall, and
Yeah.
eyes, nose, and toes always need to be in the same
I
direction.
like
I
that.
love that. Okay, last question. what is a daily habit that keeps you grounded?
Oh, prayer. And just
Yeah.
taking that quiet moment and just getting myself focused and being grateful for blessings and thankful for God's path and seeking His direction, and bringing it into my work and into my family every day.
That's beautiful. Kristen, thank you so much. We love having you here on Her Bold Blueprint. We're going to invite you back next year, hopefully, and we wish you all the best of luck with all the great work that you're doing. I look forward to hearing more about the mobile unit, and we really appreciate AdventHealth for Women, so thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, wasn't that an amazing conversation? Kristen is just an incredible powerhouse, creating change and really doing her best to serve the women in our community. Really hope you enjoyed it. Karen and I loved speaking with her. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Without you, we cannot grow. We need everyone to subscribe. We need everyone to like, share our podcast with your friends. We want to make sure that we are touching the lives of women in our community. And for those women in our community, please remember, stay bold.